since I've completely fucked this segment here, we're just gonna watch this video that I had already queued up that I wanted to watch because we wasted about 10 minutes of stream time, so that's good. But Mr. Beast is what Marx predicted. Now I don't know what this video is about. I saw it 10 minutes. It's a 10-minute video. It's fucking like 2 million views or something, 4.1 million views in a month. So like, it's popping off. Karl Marx and Mr. Beast, the two most goated individuals in human history. It goes Karl Marx, then Mr. Beast. That's how it is, and then Jesus. But yeah, I thought this was interesting. Let's see if did he predict Mr. Beast? Did he predict that some white kid out of the suburbs is gonna become a reality TV billionaire? Let's find out.
It's the year 1867. A bearded philosopher named Karl Marx sits in the dim light of the British Museum, scribbling the foundational texts of Das Kapital. He is writing about a terrifying future where every human interaction is reduced to a cold transaction. A world where even kindness is a commodity bought and sold for a profit. He had no idea that over 150 years later, he would describe the career of Jimmy Donaldson, Mr. Beast, with frightening accuracy. We view Mr. Beast as the internet's greatest philanthropist, a modern-day saint who builds wells and pays for surgeries. But through a Marxist lens, Mr. Beast isn't the solution to capitalism's failures.
Okay, well, obviously, I didn't... That's what Marx actually wrote in his book. He wrote... That was the prediction this whole time. He's like an actual god. And he wrote in his Das Kapital page, and his name will be Mr. Beast 2026, our savior. Our savior from capitalism. No. I mean, I get what he's saying, because I totally agree. Like, in a post, like a super, like, let's say, like, late stage capitalism, where it's like you're squeezing profit out of every surface you can find, right? Because maximizing profit is the whole economic initiative, right? So eventually, you're gonna have to commoditize, like, you know, feelings, water, shit like that, you know, sadness, happy, compassion. And that is kind of Mr. Beast, because his game shows are so psychologically kind of fucked up, where it's kind of like weird. And some people are like, maybe we shouldn't do this, because there's a lot of backstabbing, there's a lot of manipulation for money, for profit. Just, it's like, it's kind of like exactly like Squid Games, like except you're not actually going to die and get shot. You're just not going to get money. But if you're poor and you have no advantages in life and you have no money, and you are in this game show and you got kicked out by fucking Rakai, and he's doing the L dance on you while you're, you know, kicking it back in your fucking shed in your trailer, you're going to be pretty upset. Like, you know, and it's all just for his video, right? So anyway, I know a lot of people walk away with money, but, you know, it is just kind of like it's Squid Games, but the death is economic death, really. You don't get the money, you lose.
Is its final, most dystopian evolution. He has perfected an economy where human desperation is gamified, and charity is no longer an act of mercy, but a high-yield digital asset. Marx warned us that under late-stage capitalism, everything, even our empathy, would have a price tag. Mr. Beast didn't just find that price tag, he built a billion-dollar empire on it. This is how the world's most popular creator perfected the exact dystopian economy Marx predicted over a century ago. Commodity fetishism. In the first volume of Das Kapital.
Yeah, yes. I mean, Marx is right about commodity fetishism, and Jimmy's commodity is his TV show, his reality show, but he exploits people's emotions for profit. That's the whole thing. Empathy for profit. You see, like, my dad, like, loves Mr. Beast, and his videos are good. Like, I'm not dissing Mr. Beast. His videos are good, but, like, you could talk about the morals and the ethics of the videos ultimately, and if they're like ethical, whatever, you can have that debate. But it is a game show where you're, for money, you're like, he puts you in situations where should you be a good person, or should you take the money, or should you be a good person and like screw someone's whole family, friends, whatever over, like backstab, or take your profit. And that's the whole thing. I mean, we could talk about this forever because Marx was right. And the fetishism is people like to watch that. People like to indulge in that because it's drama, it's engaging, it's that, the editing crazy and fucking, you can't believe that just happened, right? The shock value about like and it's because of the emotional manipulation and stuff. It gives like that big internet fucking praise, right? And that is late stage, totally. But body fetishism goes from mostly everything. Guns is another big one in the States.
Marx introduces a concept that explains why Mr.Beast's videos feel so mesmerizing yet so hollow. He wrote, "A commodity appears at first sight an extremely obvious trivial thing, but its analysis shows that it is a very queer thing, abounding in metaphysical subtleties and theological niceties. When you watch a Mr.Beast video, what are you actually looking at? You see a suitcase filled with $100,000. You see a brand new Lamborghini. You see a house being given to a homeless family. To the average viewer, these are just good deeds. But to Marx, these are commodities in their most fetishized form. In a Mr.Beast production, money is never just a medium of exchange, it is a prop. It is a visual effect designed to trigger a biological response. Marx argued that commodity fetishism occurs when the social relationships between people are masked by the exchange of objects. Think about it.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, look at this. This quote is very
are masked
relevant.
By the exchange of objects.
Commodity fetishism occurs when social relationships between people are masked by the exchange of objects. Because how we exchange goods and services is with money and coins, tokens, bills, Bitcoin, finance now, and money, the paper dollar. Everyone loves money because the market system has been so fetishized. Like stocks and bonds and all these financial assets, they're very fetishized and very idealized. But it masks the actual social relation happening underneath in the economy where, people are getting exploited. People aren't getting the best deal. Wealth is accumulating at the very top while everyone else at the bottom is working. And the social relationship is exchanging goods and services, right? And it's done through a market system. It's not done through, I don't know, anything that could be better than a profit maximizing thing for society, right?
Think about it. When Jimmy hands a random person $50,000 for staying in a circle, we aren't seeing a social connection. We are seeing a person's value reduced entirely to the cash in their hand. We don't see the systemic poverty that makes that $50,000 a life-altering miracle. We only see the magic of the money itself. The money becomes a godlike entity that solves all problems, hiding the ugly reality of the labor and desperation that created the need for the money in the first place. Mr.Beast is not giving away money in the traditional sense. He is converting human struggle into a high-yield digital asset.
Yeah. And there's when you talk about market conditions and the right business choice, ultimately the right business choice or what makes economic sense is going to be what makes the most profit. Even if it means cutting off your workers, firing people, laying off people, replacing people with machinery, whatever it is, right? Profit maximizing is the motive, right? And that kind of destroys values. It sucks the life out of things. Because Jimmy's videos are very fetishized. Homeless guy gets a house, he won $1 million. This is crazy. And I mean, you see a 30-minute edit of this guy's suffering, but he suffered probably for months and weeks, a year.
Marx warned that in a capitalist society, all that is holy is profaned. The sacred act of charity has been stripped of its human soul and redesigned to satisfy a recommendation algorithm. It is the ultimate commodification. Kindness itself has become a product you can subscribe to. Human alienation.
Yeah. This just reminds me of those comments you see on those TikToks. Jimmy he got started by doing those big, I watched him early on in 2015, 16, I'm pretty sure. And, you know, he was doing those videos about homeless people, giving away money to homeless people. Those really popped off. And it started, I gave my friend a house, my friends compete for a house, whatever it is. Like, it kind of reminds me of those videos where TikTokers are going up to homeless people, giving them money, and then the comments are like, oh, why don't you just do this without filming it? It's like, well, there's no profit incentive then, because I need to film this so I get my profit out of it, so then I can do it again, right?
Marx's theory of alienation is
so everything is for profit. There's no longer like, oh, I'm not just going to help this guy because it's like the right thing to do for society. It's like, oh, I'm going to help this guy because it will benefit me if I film his misery, put him in this game show, and then profit off of it.
Ascribed to human alienation. Marx's theory of alienation is perhaps his most haunting critique of how capitalism breaks the human spirit. In his economic and philosophic manuscripts of 1844, he wrote, "The worker becomes all the poorer the more wealth he produces, the more his production increases in power and range. The worker becomes an ever cheaper commodity the more commodities he creates." Now, look at a Mr.Beast challenge. A participant is placed in a white room for 100 days. Another is buried alive for 50 hours. Another survives in a wilderness for a week. On the surface, it's a game, but in Marxist terms, it is pure alienation. The participant is the worker, and their production is their own suffering. They are separated from their family, their environment, and their basic human needs, all to produce a spectacle for a global audience. Marx argued that under capitalism,
and this is the thing, right? Because at the start, alienation isn't all work, because you get paid a flat rate, and the whole economic system is built on alienation. Because if you, the worker, get paid what you're worth, then there's no profit, right? The worker, you, like the owner isn't going to pay you if you can't make a profit, right? Like, you have to work for a certain amount of hours, for a certain, a certain amount of days, and produce a certain amount of things he can sell. And if he can sell enough, and he can profit. But like, it's just very, people don't see it, I think, because it's a YouTube video. But like, Jimmy did do the suffering at the start himself, right? He did do those crazy, like, 24 hours, I'm going to count to this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to be underwater for 24 hours, whatever it is. He did do the suffering himself to start it up, right? But now he's the host. Now he is the game show person. He doesn't really do that much anymore. He will sometimes, I think, but he is mostly the game show host now. So now these others, the people he's employing, I don't know if they get paid, if they get employed, what their contract is like, but they are now doing the suffering, the labor, the subject of the video. And the video will get probably 5, 10, 15, 100 million views. And that goes all to Jimmy's pocket, right? Even though the laborer gets a good amount of money, whatever he wins is a good amount of money, it's still like Jimmy gets so much more. Profit is literally just stealing the value out of your work. It's literally just surplus value going to the owner of the company, and the worker of the company just leaves with nothing, right? So there's this good clip where it's like, if you feel like you get ripped off at the end of your workday, that's because you are getting ripped off at the end of your workday, because you produce so much for someone else to profit off of, and you leave with nothing except for a flat wage. And it's like, I don't know, I could go on for hours, because like, even when I was in grade 6, I was talking about the wealth gap. I remember in grade fucking 6, I was like, how is the wealth gap this fucking enormous?
the work produce a spectacle for a global audience. Marx argued that under capitalism, the worker is alienated from their species essence, their true human nature. By placing people in sensory deprivation or extreme physical conditions just to pay off student debt or buy a house, Mr.Beast literally strips them of their humanity to see how much value can be squeezed out of their endurance. They aren't there because they want to play a game. They are there because they are economically coerced. In one video, video, a man stays in a circle for months to win money for his family. We watch his mental health decline. We watch him weep. This is exactly what Marx meant when he said the worker's labor becomes an object, an external existence that exists outside him, independently as something alien to him. The contestants' pain is no longer their own, it belongs to the Beast brand. It is a raw material, like coal or iron, mined from the human psyche and sold to us as entertainment.
I mean, it's true, totally, because it's like you hate, like at some point it is like brutal to go through months of isolation, right, for money. So it becomes totally alien to you. You don't want to do this work anymore. You don't want to be there. But the money economic incentive coerces you into doing it anyway. So this relationship between your work and your economic value, it's distorted. It's alien.
The more the contestant suffers, the more wealth the video generates. They are a cog in a machine that requires their total alienation to function. They sell their life activity to obtain the means of subsistence, turning their very existence into a game of survival. Exchange value. To understand the genius and the horror of the Mr.Beast model, we have to look at how he treats human life as a balance sheet. Marx famously distinguished between use value and exchange value. In value, price and profit, he noted, as exchange values, all commodities are merely definite quantities of congealed labor time. Take the video where Mr.Beast pays for 1,000 people to have cataract surgery. The use value of that act is immense. 1,000 people can now see. It is a genuine good, but in the logic of the channel, the exchange value is what matters. The cost of the surgeries is a variable capital investment. The congealed labor time is the months of planning and editing. The goal, to produce a thumbnail and a title that generates a surplus value of 150 million views. If curing 1,000 people only generated 100 views, the Beast empire would collapse. The mercy is only viable if it is marketable. This creates a terrifying feedback loop. Marx warned that capital must always seek to expand because the cost of curing blindness or building 100 houses is so high, the next video must be bigger, louder, and more viral to pay for the last one. This is the commodified charity loop. It is a self-sustaining microeconomy where the viewer's attention directly funds the next spectacle of wealth distribution. You, the viewer, are the consumer of this charity. Your attention labor is what gives the video value, which the brand then harvests.
Yeah, which is the bad thing about profit incentives in general, because if it's not profitable, then there's no incentive to do that. But there are incentives to have healthcare, but healthcare is very expensive, right? But the profit motive would tell you, well, we don't really need healthcare because we can't get a lot of profit out of it. Okay, well, that's not great because society will start to die easier. Like, lots of people will start to die. So we kind of need that shit. So if it's not profitable, then it's not going to happen. It won't. This video is not going to be made, right? It's just going to be some other shit.
To buy more good deeds. It turns the audience into passive participants in a digital coliseum. We aren't being inspired to help, we are being conditioned to watch. Marx believed that the market eventually turns everything into a quantity. In the Mr.Beast universe, there is no quality of mercy. There is only the quantity of people helped versus the cost per click. It is a cold, calculated breakdown of the human heart into a spreadsheet. Capital accumulation. Marx's most famous command for the capitalist was accumulate, accumulate. That is Moses and the prophets. He understood that capital is not a thing, but a process. It has to move. It has to grow. If it stops, it dies. Jimmy Donaldson often says in interviews that he has $0 in his bank account because he reinvests every penny back into his videos.
Yeah.
If you're in Canada and you have over 10,000...
It always has to grow. Which is why people are always mad, or at least now, like, you always talk about, well, the immigrants and moving labor overseas. It's like, well, that's the profitable option for capitalists, is to go overseas and to pay workers a shitty deal. That is the profitable thing to do. So it just makes logical business sense to go and do that.
Beast ends every single month with $0 in his bank account.
I mean, at the end of the day, I could spend less for videos if I want to. I'm just focused on making the
It
best
always
videos
has to be
possible.
reinvested,
I don't care about
moving.
making money. I don't care about time. I don't care about anything. I just want to make the best videos on the planet. But at any point, if I was like, oh, I need to stop losing money, I don't spend $1 million on the next video. Just spend $100,000. You know what I mean?
Many see this as the ultimate proof of his selflessness, but to a Marxist, this is the most aggressive form of capital accumulation imaginable. Jimmy is not a person. He is the personification of capital. By refusing to consume his wealth and instead dumping it back into...
Yeah, totally. Like, a lot of people just see the good acts and the charity and is like, well, this is a great thing, right? And it's hard to get past that, right? It's hard to kind of pull back the layers and go, well, this isn't actually the solution. It's still capitalism in a horrific form, except the marketing is so powerful where it looks like there's meritocracy in it. It's a game show. You deserve to win and stuff like that. And the prizes and the fetishism is outrageous and it's profitable, right? Like,
production, he is capital accumulation imaginable.
But it's like, yeah, oh my god, he reinvests everything to make these great videos for us. That's so nice. And he makes sure he does his philanthropy. That's so great. But then when you really look at it, it's like, okay, well, he's really aggressive with his investing, really. He wants to expand. He's moving his capital very aggressively.
Jimmy is not a person. He is the personification of capital. By refusing to consume his wealth and instead dumping it back into production, he is accelerating the growth of his beast empire at a rate that traditional charities could never dream of. Marx described the MCM cycle. Money is converted into a commodity, which is then sold for more money. Mr.Beast has perfected the MSM cycle. Money is converted into a spectacle, which is then sold for more money. Because he reinvests 100%, he is able to build a monopoly of attention. He creates a barrier to entry so high that no other creator can compete. This is the microeconomic engine your client asked about. By operating at a break-even point on individual videos, he is actually building a massive, high-yield digital asset, the brand itself. This brand can then launch Feastables, Mr.Beast Burger, and massive merchandising lines. The charity is the marketing department for a global conglomerate. Marx warned that as capital accumulates, it centralizes. We see this today. One man now controls the charity narrative for the entire internet.
That is kind of true. I didn't really think about that. He has kind of monopolized philanthropy on YouTube in a way, which I didn't really think about it like that, because philanthropy isn't really like a popular thing. It wasn't like a trending thing. Or mainstream, really. I mean, you would hear about like those people who go into your school and they're like, oh my god, we built schools in Africa, sign up to go on like a summer thing, right? But that's not mainstream. Fucking 100 million YouTube views.
Become a private state providing the services like...
And also, Mr.Beast isn't the only person. He's just an example of this, but I mean, other billionaires, I mean, Elon Musk with Tesla or his space thing. Or you could talk about Bezos. Bezos has a monopoly on basically mail. He's the best mailman in the fucking world. He's just a mailman. He's a fast mailman. He gets that shit to your door insanely fast.
Water, housing, and healthcare that the actual state has failed to provide. He is the benevolent dictator of the digital age, exactly the kind of prince of industry Marx feared would replace traditional society. The reserve army. Finally, we have to look at the people who aren't in the videos. Marx spoke of the Industrial Reserve Army, a mass of desperate, unemployed people who exist on the fringes of society. He wrote, "The Industrial Reserve Army, during the periods of stagnation, weighs down the active labor army. During the periods of overproduction and paroxysm, it holds its pretensions in check. In every Mr.Beast challenge, there are 100, 1,000, or even 10,000 people, but for every person in that video, there are millions more in the comments begging for a chance. Jimmy, please help me pay my mom's medical bills.
True.
Like, Jimmy, I'm about to lose my house."
And you could even talk about his industrial army at the beginning of his startup, because it was his friends, right? I don't think he was employed. I don't know if he was actually paying his friends a salary at that time, right? Like, they're probably more like, oh my God, Jimmy actually has a shot at making it with his YouTube thing. Like, I want to be part of that, right? So people who are desperate want to get into his YouTube videos. He can get cheap labor domestically really easily. People who are desperate, who want to, you know, be a part of what he's doing.
This is the reserve army of the beast economy. They are the millions of desperate souls who make the contestants replaceable. Marxism teaches us that the system needs this desperation to function. If everyone had a house, if everyone had healthcare, if everyone had their debt paid off, Mr.Beast's content would be boring.
Yeah.
There would be no stakes. The spectacle relies on...
Exactly. Money is worthless at that point. If everything... If the profit motive and dollars and the market system means nothing because we have the technology to produce so much to give to people in need who have a house, who have healthcare, who have decent, they're not living on the street, they have a certain standard of living, then that shock value definitely goes away, right? Because that money, that fetishism is so strong when it's so valuable to that person who's very desperate.
The existence of a massive suffering underclass. The reserve army is what gives the video its tension. Mr.Beast is not a bad person. In fact, by all accounts, he's a very nice one. But that's the point. Marx wasn't interested in whether the capitalist was nice. He was interested in what the system forced them to do. We aren't watching a man...
Yes. And this is kind of an important thing to touch on, especially at the end of the video. I've watched some Marx podcasts and stuff, but it's important to realize that capitalists, it's easy to dismiss them and not look at them as a sympathetic, as they are in a sympathetic situation. Because obviously, like, Jimmy wants to help people. Obviously, he's a nice dude, great guy. He's helping his family, his friends. He's doing everything great. He's running his own business. By all standards of normalcy, he is killing it, right? But Marx is talking about what the system forces Jimmy to do. Let's talk about, you could talk about his friend, the trans thing, and this friend, what he did, you know, obviously deserved to get kicked off the show. But, like, economic factors run his empire kind of more than he knows it, right? Like, the economic decision is the common sense decision and also the coercive decision. It's not Jimmy. Jimmy's not a bad guy because he did this. It's the system is bad because the market system is coercing you and coercing these capitalists and coercing the workers into this sort of relationship with one another. That's why it sucks. Even though the capitalists, by all accounts, Jimmy's a great dude, wants to help the most people, great. But this video is a great analysis on why the system itself, the macroeconomic system itself, like the core, like if you ripped open, like if you were driving a car, if Jimmy was driving a car, you wouldn't be like, oh, Jimmy's a bad driver, he's a shitty driver. The car is shitty. Look at under the hood. The whole engine's rusted. It's shit. It's the economics, the fundamentals that are absolute garbage that need to be changed.
Fix the world. We are watching a man prove that the world is broken beyond repair. And the scariest part, we can't stop watching. We are the ones providing the living labor of our attention, keeping the vampire alive.
That was a great video.
Oh, that's nothing. We have bounty.
That was an awesome video. I can see why that got the views it got for sure. Unskippable title, true. That's actually so true.